Hello and welcome to In the Light. This is Angie Hillman, and today I am absolutely thrilled to have one of my students, Nicholas Alessandrini, on the podcast today. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Miss Hillman.
Well, so
How
lots
are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been a little rough. Today we had the announcement that school is closed. Our school building is closed.
Yes.
And we're doing our best to still kind of provide what we can for our kids, but the actual physical building is closed. So I know you're a senior this year. That must
Mm.
bring about some feelings in your.
Uh, yeah, it does. It was depressing news to hear. We kind of all knew in a sense. We've known for a while. We've dealt with the emotions, and there had been rumors that it was going to close, so we kind of dealt with the emotions. So then when I heard today, it kind of made it all feel really real. And I know I'm not the only senior that felt like we all just kind of stopped what we were doing in the moment, which just felt really surreal that like it was all over.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you've had a great 4 years of high school. Nick is part of the CAPA Creative and Performing Arts program, which I direct at Churchill in Livonia, Michigan. And he has had a nice, illustrious career there, capping it off with his recent performance as Christopher Boone in The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
So much fun.
So much fun,
I've had
right?
so much fun. I've
Yeah,
had some fun. So
yeah,
it's been a fun 4 years. So it's weird that you work, and it's not just even the 4 years of high school, but the 12 years of public schooling that I've gone through. And it's weird that you don't get to finish that off with the last few months.
yeah.
That just is a weird feeling.
Well, I mean, and I think at this point we're all trying to kind of cope with what we're doing, and what are you doing to kind of get yourself out of that funk?
Today I've been me. I live by one of my best friends, and she just lives down the street from me, and but we walk on separate sides of the street. So we walked together, and today I walked up to Churchill and just looked at it and said like, hi, or bye, really, and um, I do yoga. I was doing yoga this morning. It's
Nice.
very, you're trying to distract yourself from like the chaos that is going on around us.
You have a routine now, or like, are you putting yourself on a routine? Are you waking up at a reasonable hour? Are you?
Um, no, no, not really. I try to keep a routine like during the day, but I don't wake up at a good time. No, definitely not. I definitely sleep in. Today I woke up a little earlier. I say that, but it was 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock's okay.
But
I support 10 o'clock.
usually lately it's been noon.
Well, okay, I support 10 o'clock. I'm not. I support noon.
Well, it's weird. It's not like me at all. I hate sleeping in.
Yeah, well,
But
I think we're all experiencing the thing of this is not like me, but
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah, like I sleep like a complete baby. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. I'm to sleep by 9:30 every single night during the school year, and now I'm up 1, 2 o'clock. Couple nights I've been up till 3 in the morning. That is not me. So I think
That's usually
that's
what I stay till.
yeah,
That's what I get till. I stay up till 3, sometimes 4.
it's insane. But I think it's kind of I don't want to say new normal, but it sort of is right now. Until this all passes us by. Have you been
Mhm.
getting out? I know we both have our puppies that we love.
Yes,
I've got Sophie Ann, and you've got Lester.
we do have Lester. I love Lester.
Yes, I was able to meet Lester when I went around to the kids, and I started. I did. I dropped T-shirts off at people's houses, and I met their dogs. And
Yes,
I
and you
met
met
Lester,
Lester.
and man, is he cute.
Yes, he is. I love my dog.
Yeah, he's a real pumpkin. My dog is wondering why I'm walking her 5 million times a day.
So is my. He's like, what are you guys all doing here?
Yeah,
Like, don't you have places to be?
I think they're confused. I think they're very
Yeah.
confused. Well, so you're off to Um, college.
I am. I'm a college kid now.
Unbelievable.
It's weird.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Central Michigan University.
Ooh, ah, chips.
Fire up.
Ooh, ah, fire up. And you will be studying acting.
I will. I'm in the acting program. I'm getting a BFA in acting. That's the program I'm in.
Yeah. What is it about acting do you think that, you know, gets you excited? Why acting?
Um, I have loved acting since I was a kid. My mom loved the arts. She loved acting. She fell in love with film through her mom, and they would watch the Oscars together, and she just loved going to shows and seeing things and loved the arts. And she actually went to college for it, and she had to drop out because she was trying to support my dad because he was going into an athletic career, and she loved him. And she was going to support him, so she dropped out so she could get a better job. And then she had my brother, and she wanted to share her love of acting, but my brother is kind of a more athletic type kid. He's not super into the arts. And then I came, and I guess I was, and we kind of bonded through that, and we watched the Oscars, and now I love to do it, and I like to tell stories, like you always say.
Yes. Yeah, at the heart of it all, we are storytellers. That is what we are.
Favorite quote.
Yep, absolutely. And so, so tell me a little bit about your process when you're acting. Like, for instance, this Christopher Boone that you did. Um,
Okay.
how do you
I,
get into headspace?
um, well, usually it's well, depending on what I'm doing, whether I'm writing it or whether I'm just acting as a character that's been given to me, I just I call it my process is shaking hands with the character. I try to figure out things that are different about the character that you would normally think about, like what's their favorite movie, or what's their favorite color, or what's their favorite book, or things like that, to really understand the character further and um, get to know my character. Like I said, shaking the hands with the character. And so for Christopher, it was difficult because when I first read him, I read the play like 5 times to try to understand and try to wrap my head around what was going on inside his head. And that was difficult because I felt he was so unlike me because of his autism. And I know I've told this to you before, but I didn't come to me until opening night when I first started realizing how like similar we were.
Yeah.
Um,
What way?
and well, he's just trying to live in the world, and he likes a good challenge, and he likes to control things like math and find out the who murdered this dog, and he's like to control that because a lot of the things in his life are out of his control. And that's so relatable to so many people. They like to be in control of certain things because other forces, such as what's happening right now in the world, are so out of our control. And even the way that he deals with stress, it's a little more different than how you or me would deal with stress. But I fully understand when he covers his ears or closes his eyes, he's just trying to shove it all away. And I remember one night during the show, I was having a lot of that anxiety and stress, and I did that, and I felt so much better. And
Yeah.
I was, wow, that's so helpful. I can't. That's so helpful. I get why people would do that.
Yeah.
So I related to him way more. And once you relate to the character and you can find that sense of relatability, you can connect and start acting with their emotions. So you're not just reading the script. So you're not just saying the lines in your head, but you're actually living in it. And that's kind of my process.
Yeah, I mean, your process worked there. There's no doubt about it. That was, I mean, it was one of the most commented on performances of anyone that I've ever directed. So it was a really, really huge pleasure for me. And I think we really changed a lot of hearts and minds with that show, don't you think?
I do. I got a lot of comments from very nice people that definitely got tears rolling down.
Absolutely. I know I was in tears every night, so every single night. But
Yeah.
I'm a crier. But it totally
So
touched
it's
me every. I thought I'm directing this thing. I know exactly what's going to happen, but it just touched me every single time. It was just an
yeah,
experience. A shared experience that we all had, which that's what it's all about. That's
yeah,
why live theater is so amazing.
it's why I love it. Why I'm going into it.
Yeah, I love it too. So, one other thing about you is that, there's a kindness to you that, is something that I've always admired about you. Some
Thank you.
people might not know. We have in our program, we have our acting classes, and our acting classes kind of grow with each other. So there's a whole group of people that start in freshman year acting one, and then they go to acting two, acting three, special studies. So it's the same exact people every single year. And every year, what do you do for Christmas?
Oh, I write cards. I write Christmas cards
Yeah, to every single.
for my class.
Yes. And these aren't just cards that are
Yeah,
love Nick. It's like it is so beautiful the way you write. And you don't find that with young people these days. I think that the art of letter writing is, all but dead. And so, especially in your generation. And so for you to take that time and write those beautiful letters inside those cards to every single person, it's always touched me in such a way. I've got yours. Actually, I could pull yours out right now. I'm at my desk at my house, and I could definitely pull one out right now because they're just so beautiful. I keep every single one.
thank you. I love writing letters. I've been doing it. Oh gosh, I can't even remember. I mean, the first time I started doing the Christmas cards was in my 8th grade year. Um, and I kept it going all the way till senior year. But I've loved writing letters ever since I was a kid.
I think that is important. I think we're losing it, and I think that we got to bring it back. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's so, something you can't say in a text is put in a letter. I don't know what it is about it, but receiving just the physical card and seeing what's in the letter is so different than just receiving like a happy birthday text. Like when I receive a card, it's much more personal than if I get just a happy birthday text.
I agree. My good friend Deb Bondi, who is really an angel of our CAPA program and a good friend of mine now, she and I have talked about it. We feel the exact same way about it. She's like, just getting that card or that letter, that's the stuff, This, and I agree. We've talked about that plenty of times. But I was always taught that as a kid, write a thank you letter.
Me too.
I'm wondering in this generation if that's really not a thing anymore, is it?
I mean, it's strange. It's strange. Whenever I get something kind done to me, I always write it. That's just what I've been taught is writing a thank you note or writing a get well thing if someone feels sick, um, or is injured or something like that. I was raised on writing cards definitely from my grandma and from my mom as well.
Yeah, I've always done that too. I enjoy that. I
Mhm.
just did a this COVID-19 thing has just been there's been some dark days, I'm not going to lie. And I know the podcast is in the light, so but in order to be in the light, I guess you have to have some dark and then climb up into the light. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, so the other day I spent a few days making some homemade cards for the nurses at St. Mary's. I've got a very beloved former student of mine who's a nurse administrator at St. Mary's Hospital, and I just said, what can I do? And she said, honestly, just handwritten notes. Honestly, they just to let people know that you appreciate them. So I made,
Exactly.
I made about 100 of them, and I put love beats in every one, and then they got delivered. I believe it was yesterday, the day before, and that felt like something I could do to kind of get back into the light in this thing.
Yeah. And it was very kind of you. My mom actually, I forgot to tell you, my mom said it was very kind of you to do that. She was very pleased with that. Made her day.
Well, good, and that I think that in this time we've got to, spread that light however we can. Like
Yeah.
I can't really make my mom is amazing with sewing, and so she's been making masks like crazy over there.
Yeah.
You will not be surprised to know that her masks are the most beautiful of all masks.
Of course they are.
I
Of
mean,
course they are.
the delightful cotton patterns, and
Yes.
she sews them up, And then she irons each and every one. And I said, Mom, you don't have to iron them. They're just going to go on people. Angela, of course I have to iron them, she says. You know how she does everything to perfection.
Yes, that sounds like your mother.
Yes. So she's doing the things that she can do, you know? And I'm just
Yeah.
wondering what else can everybody else do, you know? What do you think?
I mean, cards is a huge thing. I mean, like we talked about, it's just knowing that you're appreciated, and given that personal thing is a huge thing. And I think, well, one big thing that people could do is stay home. Um, but to really make everyone calm everyone's nerves, I was actually thinking about sending cards out just to people, just to make them, feel like they're not alone in this, because we're all going through it together. Especially the senior class, we're all dealing with this in our own way. And we have actually started a group chat, just to talk about it and talk about our feelings. And I'm talking to people that I've never talked to or haven't talked to in years. But, we're all just coming together through this. And I think that's part of the beautiful thing about it is, yes, it's horrible. And yes, there's so many people dying, and it's every day there's just more bad news. But I think the more beautiful thing is people are coming together in ways that are remarkable. And even my mom said we were driving somewhere and people waved to each other
Yeah, I've been noticing that too on walks.
on walks. And even if you pass by a car, you wave to the car now. It's strange.
You know, you have to believe something good will come from something bad.
Yes.
You have to believe that.
If you don't, then you have nothing going for you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I think too, noticing, the good in the world. Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers said, notice who the helpers are.
Yeah.
They're dim. You look for those helpers. And I think
Yeah.
that we should be promoting that, helping each other.
Exactly.
You have a
I
friend, who is in the dumps, do something kind for them. Just even
Yeah.
calling them, texting them, sending them something cute. I think that that's important to do, don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
Part of being
I,
human.
it is. It is. And we can't just focus on all the bad in the world, because if we do that, we're all just going to be miserable.
And also, let's give the audience the phone tip.
Oh, turn off your notifications for Twitter and the news. And if you want to, all social media, because it's so distracting. And that way, you taught me this. You go on it when you want to, and you see things when you want to. I have not looked at Twitter in so long, and it feels so refreshing
Yeah,
because I'm not just looking at all the bad news.
important. Yeah, right. To go on it at your own time.
Yeah,
When you want to see
it's
it, you go on it.
exactly. And, you know, it just is very refreshing. And you go about, my mom has even told me, she's like, I'm really surprised how calm you are, because I'm usually a very anxious person and I get very worried very
Oh,
quickly.
I'm aware.
And yes, and she said, I'm very surprised how calm you are through this whole thing. And I was like, well, I'm not on the news, I don't look at it.
Yeah, I think that's
So I think it's
part of it.
cool.
Having
Yeah,
worked in
and
high
I
school
see people.
news, I know what the news wants to do. You know, it,
Yeah,
it's really there to make you want to watch more news, right? So,
exactly. They
depending on
want you.
yeah,
They,
depending on what you're watching, they want you to watch more news. Depend on us. Depend on us. And
yeah,
sometimes you don't need all that. The news. I used to teach radio and television broadcasting, and one of my things I said was, the news tells you what they think you need to know.
exactly,
You know, so I think that
exactly. And
just in small doses, it's good.
it is. And they're focused a lot on efficiency rather than accuracy as well, which is something that's a huge problem. So, I don't want to look at it anymore. It's just depressing me.
I think that's very important. And I think that, we've talked about this before when we did our Zoom classes. It's important for us as creative people to continue to create.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely
It's
agree. I've been
interesting.
writing.
I always find it so interesting, Nick, how, in high school and in college, and I don't think that sometimes the arts gets the credit that it deserves. And I
I
don't want to
agree.
do an arts versus athletics thing, but there is that, where your
Definitely.
athletics, your that gets so much attention and so much hype, and arts don't. But then in a crisis like this, what's the first thing people go to?
Art.
Yeah, the movies, the Netflix, the Hulu, the music.
There wouldn't be anything without
Mhm.
art.
Yeah, entertainment. And where those entertainers come from?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure they were in a school musical, you know?
Exactly. And that's not to say like athletics is bad, and I know you've
Absolutely
never
not.
thought that.
Mm-mm.
Um, it's just to say, they can both be in harmony together.
That's what I think too. But I've been in this business a long time, and I just know how down the list the arts can get. And it
Yeah,
just at this moment in time, I'm thinking to myself, huh, but the artists are the ones that are, coming together. The artists are
yeah,
the ones that people are looking to for their entertainment right now. And I just,
exactly.
I've always wished that there was a little more, um, I guess, respect coming that way, especially for
They,
you guys as young people.
yeah, and you see it all the time, like you said, and even like, I mean, apps like TikTok, in a sense, it's art. There are people on there that I see creating beautiful things that people are like, wow, that's so cool. And that's art.
That's the art. And I think we just have to, at this point, keep creating, which is
Yeah,
one reason I started the podcast. Well, I will say I was on your podcast, your Nick and Eli podcast, that one time in my classroom, and I'm like, I want a podcast.
yes.
I said, I'm going to wait till summer and I'm starting one. And then this happened, and I said, well, what's better than doing a podcast in the light about things that can put us in the light? So that's
Exactly.
what I did. So yeah, so it's working out for me. Well, I got to tell you, I'm so sad to not be able to be with you physically.
I
And
know.
who would have ever known that my free hug sign would be at all controversial?
It's crazy.
Too. But the
It's,
free hug sign is going to stay because I have no doubt that in the future we will all be hugging again.
oh my gosh. No one wants to stop hugging.
No,
And no one will ever want to go home again.
no, and even the non-huggers, like my good friend Kelly Eddy, I have a
Yes.
feeling she's coming to our side, and I believe she will be a hugger by the time
Yes.
it's over.
Yes.
Don't you agree?
Agreed. Agreed.
Yes. So to all the huggers and the huggers to be, this has been Nick Alessandrini. Thank you so much for stopping by, Nick.
Thank you for having me. It's so much fun.
Please just keep in the light, keep positive, and please keep creating.
Yes, please. It's so helpful.
It is. Well, we'll be in touch, okay? I love you lots.
Love you too.
All right, honey. This is Ben in the light. We'll see you next time.